okay, I'll admit I did not see this coming. Joe Gibbs Racing is splitting up Denny Hamlin and Chris Gabehart. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday, folks. Major crew chief changes. We'll start with Joe Gibbs Racing. This was just announced this morning. I'm as surprised as all of you. JGR has announced that Chris Gabehart will be the team's new competition director. Ty Gibbs' crew chief Chris Gale will move over to the number 11 to take Gabehart's place. Ty Gibbs' crew chief will be announced at a later date. This means that one of the most successful driver-crew chief combos of the past decade have been split up. Not 100%. I mean, obviously Gabehart is now the competition director, so he'll still work with Denny Hamlin to some degree, just not as directly. He'll still have influence over how Denny Hamlin's car performs every Sunday. It's just not the same as it's been. Gabehart took over the number 11 in 2019. Hamlin was coming off a winless 2018 with Mike Wheeler, and the Hamlin-Gabehart duo got off to a hot start, winning 6 races in 2019, 7 races in 2020. They advanced to 3 straight championship fours between 2019 and 2021. In their 6 years together, Hamlin and Gabehart won 23 races. That averages to almost 4 wins per season. They have cemented themselves as one of the best driver-crew chief combos in the NASCAR Cup Series. When you think great pairings, you think maybe Cliff Daniels, Kyle Larson. Maybe you can throw Paul Wolfe, Joey Logano due to their late season success. There's some honorable mentions like Adam Stevens, Christopher Bell, Alan Gustafson, Chase Elliott, but I think Denny Hamlin, Chris Gabehart have to be top 3. They're on the modern Mount Rushmore. So much success in a fairly short period of time. Shocking that Joe Gibbs Racing would split them up. Or is it? More on that in a moment. Denny Hamlin, speaking to reporters today, did say he was shocked by the move, saying, quote, "They got to do what's best for the company. I think they're looking for improved performance on the 54, and they're looking for overall performance for all the teams because we certainly haven't won the amount of races as an organization as we should have." Focusing in on Denny for a moment, I do think for him personally, for the 11 team directly, this is a big loss. Chris Gabehart is great, and now he won't be the one calling the shots on the pit box week in, week out. Chris Gale is fine. He's a veteran. He's been crew chiefing with Joe Gibbs Racing for like a decade now. He's been around, but he hasn't won a cup race since 2019. In 6 years, he's got 2 cup wins as a crew chief, both with Eric Jones the previous decade. He's got 37 Xfinity Series wins, although more than half of them come with Kyle Busch. He's not terrible. I just don't really know. Losing Chris Gabehart is going to sting because he sounded over the radio like a cool, calm voice, a voice of reason, very analytical. I felt like he and Denny Hamlin gelled. Great chemistry there. So just on race day, I know during the week, Hamlin and Gabehart will probably see each other, but on race day, to lose that steady presence, that voice, that could cost Denny Hamlin. That hurts the 11 team, at least in the short term, I believe. It's going to be confusing for Hamlin fans, going from Chris to Chris, Gabehart to Gale. No disrespect to Gale, this is a downgrade, but it's not all doom and gloom for Denny Hamlin fans. Like I said, at first glance, this sounds shocking. I don't think anyone really saw this coming, but upon further examination, it actually makes sense why Joe Gibbs Racing would make this call. Chris Gabehart, I believe, is replacing Wally Brown. Wally Brown has been in the competition director role for a number of years now, and Joe Gibbs Racing has obviously been very competitive for a number of years now, but 2024, quietly, was a down year across the board. Only 2 of the 4 Gibbs cars had wins this year. The 54 and the 19 were shut out. Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole was also shut out of the Championship 4 for the first time in franchise history. They had to watch as Team Penske once again caught fire at the end of the season. They took up half the Championship 4 spots and won their 3rd straight championship. Joe Gibbs Racing also went winless the entire second half of the season. This didn't get a lot of coverage, I feel. Christopher Bell's win at New Hampshire in June was the final JGR win of the year. Over the final 18 races, Team Penske won 6 races, Hendrick won 4, JTG, Doherty, RCR, and the Wood brothers each got a win. Stuart Haas, with the doors slowly slamming shut, came through to win at Darlington. What happened the second half of the year? Nobody really talked about it, and I think it's because we all sort of made up excuses. Christopher Bell was still leading laps and running top 5 every week. Tyler Reddick held on to win the regular season championship, not a Gibbs car, but a Gibbs-aligned team. Denny Hamlin still got to the round of 8 despite that massive, fluky TRD engine penalty at the end of the regular season. And Truex struggling, we kind of just chalked that up to retirement tour. He's sort of only half here. And Ty Gibbs, sophomore slump. The narrative was excuses. The narrative wasn't, hey, why hasn't Joe Gibbs Racing won in 4 months? That's on us, the fans, the media, that's on everyone for not noticing perhaps some cracks in the armor sooner. So from that perspective, if you're a Joe Gibbs Racing fan, putting Chris Gabehart in the competition director role is a huge win. I think he's great. Even if you're a Denny Hamlin fan, while you're losing that direct Gabehart influence, he's still going to have influence over how your car performs, and I think all of Joe Gibbs Racing could do with a revamp the way 2024 ended. So Hamlin, though not working directly with Gabehart anymore, may have faster cars. Maybe Gabehart can lead that engineering team, help them find some speed that they've lost. Early in 2024, Hamlin, Bell, 3 wins apiece, looked dominant. End of the season, we were talking about Team Penske once again. There's a disconnect there. Perhaps Chris Gabehart at the top of the food chain or near it with more influence can help all of Joe Gibbs Racing, including Denny Hamlin, maintain that winning speed throughout the entire season. So if you're a Denny Hamlin fan, at first glance, you see replacing Gabehart with Chris Gale and you go, ugh, you cringe. But knowing that Gabehart will still be a very influential team player hopefully calms some 11 fans' nerves a little bit. So anyway, my reaction to some surprising news this morning. Chris Gabehart out of the 11, promoted to JGR competition director. Let me know if you think this is a good move overall for Gibbs, a bad move for Hamlin. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. While we're on the topic of Toyota crew chiefs, a couple weeks back, 2311 Racing announced that Bootie Barker would not return to the number 23 team. Bubba Wallace will have a new crew chief next year. Charles Deneke, fresh off a Truck Series Championship 4 appearance, would take over. Bootie Barker moving to a new role within 2311 Racing. Bootie Barker, always honest, unless he's lying to the Netflix cameras, went on Sirius XM NASCAR radio this week and was quite candid. I think we all knew it was likely a 2311 decision to make changes on the 23 car, but Bootie Barker confirmed it, saying, quote, "It surprised me how close we were as far as making the playoffs and what I thought we could keep doing, so I wasn't necessarily ready for it. It took me a bit to get my head around it, I won't lie." I appreciate the honesty from Bootie Barker. It's hard not to like Bootie Barker. I said this a few weeks ago when the announcement was initially made. I'll say it again. Bootie Barker was the perfect crew chief for Bubba Wallace at the time. Go back a few years. 2311 is this brand new flashy team, Michael Jordan attached. Bubba Wallace recently thrust into the public eye, suddenly taking over. So much pressure, so much attention on him. This is the most competitive cup opportunity he's ever had. With that comes high expectations. The first couple years were an adjustment. And I think having Bootie Barker there, an industry veteran, likable, great team guy, he built good chemistry with Bubba, made Bubba Wallace feel comfortable. And I think at that time, I'm talking 2021, 2022, that was most important. Bootie Barker made Bubba Wallace comfortable. That was great. But now that we're about to go into year 5 with Bubba Wallace in 2311, he should be comfortable by now. Now it's time to pair Bubba Wallace with someone who's maybe more analytically driven. Get a new voice in his ear, someone new atop the pit box, someone to push him even further. It's not about being comfortable anymore. Now it's time to get a little uncomfortable. I need to see Bubba Wallace up in the top 5, leading more laps, making moves for race wins. Bubba Wallace, Bootie Barker, It's been more than 2 years since they went to victory lane. Like, I'm sorry, that's not good enough when your teammate is winning regular season championships and racing at Phoenix. So Bootie Barker says that the whole situation caught him a little off guard. I get it. When you're there in the moment, you're close with your guys, it doesn't feel like anything should break you up. But from the outside looking in, no, it was time for a change. From the outside looking in, the on-track results for the 23 team were not up to 2311 standards. Something had to change. Bubba Wallace, big name, attractive to sponsors, not going anywhere. All eyes turned to the crew chief. So I feel for Bootie Barker because he's a good dude. I hope whatever role he slips into at 2311 is a productive role, a fulfilling role, but it was time to make a change. I think the 23 team will be in a better place next year because of the moves they've made so far this offseason. Anyway, I thought that quote was interesting. One final story, not crew chief related, but I'm a few days behind on this. It's been rumored for a few days, was officially announced yesterday. JTG Doherty is being rebranded. With the JTG part of the team gone, Jody and Tad Geschecter have moved on. They've brought Kroger to RFK Racing. Now it's Gordon Smith and still Brad Doherty leading the 47 group. The new team name is Hayek Motorsports. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I apologize. Hayek? Gonna need a media guide or something before 2025. The name comes from one of Gordon Smith's other companies up in the Pacific Northwest. The name comes from that region as well. As far as I can tell, this is really just a rebrand. JTG again, they've moved on. Those two, they're gone. Gordon Smith remains. Brad Doherty remains. He released a statement confirming he's still here. He's part of this 47 bunch. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is still there. He signed an extension last year. Same shop, same set. This team, I think, is largely going to be the same. They've lost Kroger, so that hurts the pocketbook, I'm sure, but I'd expect the 47 to still run more or less like the 47 has the past few seasons. Really just a different name, and I guess slightly different ownership group. That's the latest there. I just wanted to touch on it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Covered a lot of ground, a lot of crew chief moves this week. What do you make of Chris Gabehart getting promoted? Big picture, do you think it helps Denny Hamlin, or will it hurt Denny Hamlin having a different voice in his ear on race day? Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR commentary almost every single day, even during the NASCAR offseason. Big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. I'll talk to y'all again maybe this weekend. I know tonight is the year-end awards banquet in Charlotte. Drivers speaking to media. Might get some interesting off-season quotes. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for watching this video, folks.